In today's video, interdimensional warp demons battle cyborg soldiers of fortune for control of an unsanctioned research station as we play another game of Space Weirdos, a Skirmish heartbreaker. Well, hello folks, and welcome to the channel. I'm Lee, your old hammered host. Lynn is currently out running a few errands this afternoon, so in her absence, I'm setting up the board for our next game of Space Weirdos, a Skirmish heartbreaker. So not too long ago, we posted a video where we used Space Weirdos as an example of a small-scale war game, and by that I don't mean it uses 10 or 6mm miniatures, though I suppose you could, but rather that it can be played on a smaller board like this 30x22 Kill Team board. Also, you can play Space Weirdos with just a handful of models, so they kind of recommend that 4 models a side be kind of the minimum, so that's what we're going to play today. Also, Space Weirdos is, as they say, miniatures agnostic, which means that you can use virtually any sci-fi figures from your collection or even some fantasy figs. So for example, today we're going to have some old Void figures, these androsynths here, facing off against some classic Games Workshop Chaos demons. Because why wouldn't you want to have military cyborgs battling warp demons? That's a movie I'd pay to see. So as I said, this is going to be a small and hopefully quick game on a kill team type mat, though you could easily play this game on a 2x2 or 3x3 board if that's what you had. The two teams are both 74 points apiece. I know that's kind of an odd number. I tried to get them to 75, but it just wasn't working out, so we're going to stick with 74 points on each side. So this team here is known as the Acme Liquidators. They are freelance cyborg operatives. They are a very shooty squad, decked out with heavy armor and target reticules. Here is the leader, and then he's got 2 riflemen and a heavy weapons guy backing him up. This team over here is a squad of warp demons. So here we have a sorcerer, a summoner right here, and he has summoned these 3 warp demons to help him with the mission. Now the demons are all hand-to-hand fighters. So this guy has a 2-handed energy weapon, this guy has a single-handed energy weapon, and this guy just has horrible claws and teeth. But they're all able to teleport. So if they can consistently activate their psychic powers, they'll be able to basically warp in behind some of their enemies and chop them to pieces. At least that's the plan. Now to activate a psychic power, creatures need to roll against their willpower. So the more willpower you have, the better. But these guys actually only have 2d6 on willpower. The sorcerer here, the summoner, has 2d10, and he also has the special ability Majestic, which means as long as he's still alive, all of these guys can use his willpower to make their psychic ability rolls. So it's going to be very important for the warp demons to keep this guy alive, because once he dies, it's going to be harder for them to warp in and out at will. So he might just try to hide this game. He has a stealth suit, and so if he's touching terrain, nobody can draw a line of sight on him unless they're within 1 stick. So maybe that's what he's going to do. He can certainly fight. His staff is basically a melee weapon and energy rifle combination. But it might be wiser for him to just stay out of sight and let the demons do all the dirty work, which is their specialty. Okay, so that's the rundown of our 2 teams today. So this whole area here is another one of those forbidden research stations. Maybe it's on a satellite or an abandoned space station or underneath a pyramid in the Arctic. But anyway, apparently some hinky stuff was going on and there was some sort of mishap which destroyed all the technicians and scientists. And so the cyborgs and the demons have entered the research center, both with different objectives. The demons want to awaken these carcasses here if they can, and the cyborgs want to plant demolition charges and destroy them once and for all. So we're going to play for 4 turns. We kind of plucked that number out of the air, but we'll see how it goes. And we're going to say that any operative or creature that is adjacent to one of these things at the end of turn 4 can either activate it or blow it up. But they have to be the only creature touching it. So that would be the goal for these guys, is to try to wipe out all their enemies and then get up nice and close to these things and either blow them up or bring them back to life. And it'll be interesting to see which team prevails, because the cyborgs are a very traditional force and the warp demons are somewhat unconventional. So will the power of psychic teleportation beat good old-fashioned auto rifles and body armor? Let's find out as we play our latest game of Space Weirdos. Okay, we are back. Lynn has returned. We have rolled for initiative. We have placed our forces. Lynn is going to be playing the warp demons, and they're going to try to warp their way to victory.
That's right, and reanimate the greater demons.
And you can see the summoner and his squad of demons have all clustered over here. So since he is adjacent to terrain, he's now invisible to anybody outside of one stick. Or they kind of know he's there. He sort of shimmers, but they can't draw a line of sight on him. And these three guys here, these warp demons, have no shooting, but they can teleport, so they're going to try to get up close and personal. And then over here on this side, we see the cyborgs of Acme Liquidators. Here is a rifleman right here. Here is the heavy weapons guy, the leader, and another rifleman over here. And the cyborgs have initiative, so they will select one cyborg to activate and get to it. So we've kind of determined that these small barriers here do not impede movement. You don't have to climb over them. So this guy is going to vault over this and skedaddle that way. I think he's going to move 2 sticks and go kind of like this. So there he is, and he's starting to plant some C4 charges that'll go off on turn 4, assuming no demons deactivate them. Okay, so now the warp demons get to activate. And are you going to move or teleport somebody?
I am going to try to teleport Mr. Angry.
Mr. Angry. Okay, because of the majestic leader trait, Mr. Angry gets to use the summoner's willpower when trying to teleport. So he rolls 2d10, and the universe is going to roll 2d6. So if he defeats this 2d6 roll, then he teleports. The universe rolled an 11, and Angry rolled a 5, so it fizzles.
It fizzles. Oh well, Angry did not want to move.
Angry didn't teleport. He had every opportunity to teleport, but it didn't work out for him. Okay, so that's Angry. He has one more action.
He's going to move over here.
Okay, so he just moves a little bit. All right. So Angry is here, and he's really angry now because he tried to warp, and it didn't work.
And it didn't work, yes.
And remember, with your command points, you can do things like dodge, overwatch. You can give yourself a buff on certain die rolls and things like that. So you have 2 command points to spend each round as long as your leader is alive. And if your leader is killed, it drops to 1. Okay, so on the cyborg's turn, I think this shooter here, this heavy weapons guy, is going to move 1 stick and move over here and take up a firing position behind the barricade. So this was the guy who activated first, and this is the guy who just activated. Okay, so the warp demons are up. Who's warping?
So for my activation, I am going to try to allow Stinky to teleport.
All right, Stinky's going to try to warp. So he rolls 2d10, and he got a 12. That's pretty good, versus a 5. So yeah, Stinky warps. Okay. So Stinky has made a trans-dimensional jump across the board behind the cyborg leader, and he has 1 activation left, and so he can use his power sword to attack the leader if he wants to.
He is going to do that.
Yeah, all the demons, with the exception of the summoner, have 2d10 on prowess, so they have a lot of offense. Their defense is only 2d8, so it's a middling defense. So they're not quite glass cannons, but they're certainly stronger on the attack than on the defense. Fortunately, the cyborg leader has a defense of 2d10 plus 1 because he has heavy armor. I had to give him a little bit better armor than the other guys because he's got a shield there, obviously.
But I get to re-roll any ones.
Because of your power weapon, you get to re-roll 1s. Okay, go ahead and roll. Oh, Demon's got a 14. And the leader got a 17 and 18 because of his plus 1. So he defends.
He defends.
He shrugs it off thanks to his shield.
Yeah.
So these 2 guys are currently locked in combat. If the leader activates and wants to withdraw, he needs to spend 2 actions to do so, and then he can move 1 stick. And maybe he will. Maybe he will spend 2 actions to withdraw. He will move over here, and he will shoot his heavy pistol at Stinky. He's within 1 stick, so there's no penalty for shooting the pistol, and then if he's successful, he will get plus 1 to the underfire roll. But for now, he needs to try to hit. Firepower is 2d8 plus 1, and I think your defense is
2d8.
2d8. Okay, cyborg leader. And I got a 12, a 13. 13 versus a 5. Okay, so I got a 13, you got a 5, so that's more than double.
I have broken dice.
You have broken dice. Would you
I
rather
do.
have my dice? The problem is I only have so many full sets, but
I
if
know.
if you would rather have the black dice, you can have them. If you think that'll make a difference. So I'm going to roll 2d6 on the under fire table. I get plus 1 because of the heavy pistol, And I get another +1 because my die roll to hit was twice what you got.
Correct.
3, 4, 5. It's not
Run
great.
for cover. The defending model must move 1 stick if able, and the move must not bring them into contact with an enemy model.
Run for cover. So I didn't hit Stinky, but I scared him. So he needs to run 1 stick. So Stinky runs for cover. Driven off by a hail of 45 caliber bullets. So we were going to exchange dice, but Lynn has decided to stick with her red dice so she can blame the dice if things don't work out.
Exactly.
All right, perfect.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so that was the Cyborg Commander. He's activated, and I only have 1 rifleman left, but now it's the demon's turn. And there are 2 warp demons. There's the Summoner and Pinchy. So what are you thinking? Is Pinchy going to pinch?
Pinchy's going to pinch.
Okay, Pinchy's got a pinch. Roll your 2d10. You got a 12. That's pretty good. Versus a 3 for the universe. So Pinchy warps.
Pinchy's coming to pinch.
Pinchy's going to pinch. Okay, so Pinchy has horrible claws and teeth. If he had 3 actions, he could attack 3 times, but he's only got 1 action left because he warped in. So what is your prowess? 2d10?
2d10.
And the rifleman has a defense of 2d8 plus 1.
Roll to hit.
So 12 versus 15. Woohoo! You should have taken those black dice while you had the chance.
I should have.
All right. Way to go, rifleman. So I got 1 guy left to activate, and then you have the summoner still.
Yep.
So I think the rifleman is going to spend 2 actions to disengage. He's going to back up to about here, and he is going to open fire on Pinchy. But he only gets 1 shot because he spent 2 activations to disengage. So shooting with an auto rifle, 1 shot, firepower of 2d8 plus 1 on Pinchy. So, it's a 7.
Defending.
Versus
7.
a 7. So it's a wash, so nothing happens.
Yay!
It misses by a fraction of an inch, bouncing off one of his claws. So the last warp demon representative to activate is the summoner. And he doesn't have warp powers. He mostly provides his willpower to all the demons. He's sort of holding them on this plane. Does he wish to activate? He could certainly hop up here and shoot, and he would still get the protection of his stealth suit.
But then on the next turn, then this guy could come around here using 2 sticks and be within 1 stick of him so he could shoot him.
Okay, so if the summoner jumped up here, then yeah, one of those riflemen could probably get within range to see him and draw a line of sight. So maybe you don't want that. So is the summoner just going to stand pat?
The summoner's just going to stay behind the barrier and check his messages.
Okay. All right. So that is round 1. Going into round 2.
Roll for initiative.
Roll for initiative using my blessed black dice. 8. 5.
Yep, they are your blessed black dice.
You could have had them.
I know, but this way I can blame the dice.
I think it's time to shoot some demons.
I kind of guessed you might do that.
So most of my guys can draw a bead on some demon somewhere. But the thing to remember is you have 2 command points. You could use one of them to dodge. So keeping that in mind, this rifleman right here is going to shoot at Pinchy over here. Do you wish to dodge? You can only do it once a round, though. So if you dodge out of the way, then the rest of this turn, you won't be able to use it. Okay, so Pinchy's going to dodge, right? Mm-hmm. Going to spend a command point and dodge. So that spoils this guy's first shot, and he's going to move a little more than half a stick. So this rifleman still has 2 actions. So he can spend 1 action to move kind of this way. And then he can shoot Pinchy with 1 shot because he still has 1 activation left. But that is better than getting shot 3 times with an auto rifle.
Correct.
So the cyborg shooter has a firepower of 2d8 plus 1, and Pinchy defends with 2d8. So I got a 9, a 10, and you got a 4.
So that's double again.
Yeah. So when I roll on the under fire table, I get to add 1 because my roll was more than double yours. So 2d6 plus 1. 7, 8. Staggered. I've staggered Pinchy. So Pinchy is staggered, so he's going to need to become unstaggered before he can do anything. Fortunately, it is a willpower roll, and he is drawing off of the summoner's willpower, so he'll have a pretty good chance to recover on his activation. Now, because the demons have the undead squad ability, they can take 2 staggers and not be out of action. A normal human who takes 2 staggers is out, but these guys are resilient, and so even another staggered is not going to take him out of action. Okay, now the warp demons get to go, and who do you think is going to activate?
Stinky is going to rush and attack this cyborg here.
All right, so this cyborg is the heavy weapons guy. So, Stinky is more than 1 stick away, so he's going to need to use 2 sticks to get there. But fortunately, when you're attacking hand-to-hand, that's actually beneficial because you're essentially building up a head of steam. So yeah, you're going to attack with 2d12s instead of 2d10s because you moved 2 sticks. But you only get 1 attack because you've used 2 actions to move. So you're attacking with your power sword. You get to reroll prowess rolls of 1 because it's a power sword. And you're rolling 2d12, so this could be a pretty good attack. 11. That's not bad.
But I get to reroll this one.
You get to reroll the 1. Even better.
18.
Well, it's going to be hard to beat on 2d8s plus 1. 11, 12. Well, you didn't double it, so that's good. But you did get an 18. So we roll on the under attack table with 2d6. 7. Down. You knocked him down. So the heavy weapons guy is knocked down. Okay, so this guy moved twice, attacked once, knocked down the heavy weapons guy. So the commander is within 1 stick, so that's good. So the commander is going to take aim at Stinky. You've already used your dodge this turn, so you can't dodge. And because the heavy weapons guy is knocked down, he's not considered to be in base-to-base with Stinky in terms of getting shot at. So the commander is going to let her rip with 2 shots from the heavy pistol. He would shoot more, but its max shots per turn is only 2. But Stinky was running. He moved more than 1 stick, and so he's going to go from a defense of 2d8 to 2d10. So I think the commander is going to spend a command point, and he is going to buff his shot. He's going to buff his first shot to take it from 2d10s to 2d12s. So, shooting with a heavy pistol, 2d12, and I got a 10. And you got a 16, so that first shot missed. Now I'm shooting with 2d10s because my buff is depleted. And I got a 6. And you got a 5.
Oh, jeez.
So, just barely hit.
It's my bad dice, remember?
Bad dice, I see. I don't know, you did pretty good on the last shot.
I did.
Okay, so no bonuses on the under fire table except for the heavy pistol because of its big caliber bullets. So I do add 1 to my roll for the under fire table. So 2d6 plus 1. And 8, 9. Down and staggered. So Stinky is down and staggered. Okay, so now the demons get to do something.
Angry is going to attempt to teleport.
Okay, Angry is teleporting. Universe score is an 8. And you got
A 7.
7, so you did not.
He is not bound and determined to teleport.
You did not warp successfully.
So does that still count as 2?
It does. You fizzled.
Okay. He's going to run up here.
So he's got to move by foot. So Angry runs over here on foot, which is not the way he wants to travel.
No.
Okay, for the cyborgs, this guy here is going to activate. He's going to spend 1 activation to stand up. I could have him just stomp, but he's a better shooter. So I think what he's going to do is he's going to use 1 action to kind of hop up here. All right, so the heavy weapons guy spent 1 action to stand up. He spent another action to hop up on the barrier. He's going to shoot down at Stinky with his final action. So since the target model there has 2 movement tokens, Stinky is going to roll with +1 die type defense. But if the target is staggered, and he is, he rolls defense with -1 die type. So it is a wash. So you're back to d8s. Okay, clear as mud. So I'm shooting with 2d8s +1. And I get to reroll 1s or 2s because it's an autocannon. And I got a 9, a 10. Total 10.
Defense.
And you got a 9.
9.
So it does hit. It's not double or anything. Rolling on the under fire table. No bonuses or anything. And I got a 5. Run for cover. Defending model must move 1 stick. If able, he is not able, so nothing happens. Now the warp demons get to do something. So who's up?
I guess Pinchy.
Pinchy is up. Pinchy is staggered, so first thing he needs to do is get unstaggered. So I'm going to roll 2d6 for the universe, and you're going to roll 2d10, and you just need to get higher than that. Oh, the universe got a 12. Should have taken those black dice, but you get a 19. 19. So Pinchy is unstaggered, so that's 1 action.
He's now going to pinch. Pinch!
So Pinchy is going to pinch. He's got 1 action to do so with. So he's attacking with 2d10 because he's pretty good on offense. So you get a +1 for under attack rolls because of your horrible claws and teeth. They're just horrible. So if you successfully attack, then when you roll on the under attack chart, you'll get a bonus. My defense is a lowly 2d8 +1.
Roll to hit. 10.
Pinchy got a 10. So I got a 7 +1 is 8. So you get to roll on the under attack table and add 1. So roll 2d6 and add 1.
3.
3 is terrible.
That's as bad as you can get.
So that is a 3. That means that the defender actually gets to fight back.
My bad dice, like I said.
So the defending model may make a fight attack. His prowess is only 2d6 though. He's more shooty than he is fighty. And your defense is what, 2d8?
Yep.
So let's see what happens. 11
Defense roll.
and 8. So 11 versus 8, so the attack hits. Just a straight roll on the under attack table.
You need 2 1s.
Yeah, that would be funny, right?
That would be funny.
10 out of action.
That is the end of Pinchy. Well, Pinchy, you did not do very good.
That is the end of Pinchy. Yeah, he should have done better than that with his snapping claws.
Yeah.
He got taken out by a rifle butt. Such are the fortunes of war, I guess.
Okay, your turn.
Okay, do I have anybody left?
You have him left.
Oh, I got my shooter left. Okay, the cyborgs have 1 rifleman left. So he's going to move kind of over here. And he can see Angry over here, but Angry's going to get some cover.
Yep.
So he's just going to move the 1 stick and then shoot twice. Or I could aim. I'll spend 1 action to aim and shoot once.
Then I'm going to use my command point to go up 1 defense.
Okay, so Angry gets +1 die type for cover. He gets +1 die type for buffing it with a command point. So he goes from D8s to D12s. And the shooter normally has a firepower of 2d8, but with aim, he takes it up to D10s. So he's shooting with 2d10s +1 versus your 2d12s. So 1 shot for all the marbles. So it's an 11 to 12.
Defending. 11.
11. So because of my targeting reticule, I got just enough to beat your defense roll.
Yes, you did.
Okay, under fire table, no bonuses or anything. And an 8.
He's staggered.
Staggered. Angry is staggered.
Well, we're just going to get up here and shoot.
Okay. So the summoner is going to spend an action to hop on top of the wall. His stealth suit is still activated because he's on top of terrain. And now he has 2 actions to shoot with his energy rifle. So the summoner is going to fire some eldritch bolts at the heavy weapons guy, the heavy weapons cyborg. Now you have aim 1 with that staff, so you could aim once and buff your attack by 1 die type, or shoot twice.
I'd rather shoot twice.
Okay. And you get to reroll once, because it's an energy weapon. The heavy weapons cyborg has a defense of 2d8 +1.
Roll to hit. That's not very good.
Well, you got a 7
Yeah, that's not very good.
versus my 8, 9.
Mm-hmm.
So first shot missed. Second shot, 10 versus an 11, 12.
So it didn't hit.
Didn't miss by much, though. That's the end of the round. Now we go into round 3. We don't have to check for broken war bands because no one has lost 50%.
Okay.
So the warp demons on paper have an advantage in hand-to-hand, but it has not manifested itself in the real world.
Not at all.
It's been theoretical at this point.
Very theoretical.
Rolling for initiative. I got a 10. And she got a 5. You should have taken those black dice
I
when they
should
were
have taken
offered.
those black dice while they were offered.
Okay, so I think what's going to happen here is the autocannon cyborg is going to blaze away at the demon who's on the ground, who is down and staggered. So that's 3 attacks, firepower of 2d8 plus 1, and I reroll 1s or 2s. And your defense is down to 2d6 because he is staggered. Okay, 2d8 plus 1, and that's a 7 and 8 versus a 6, so that hits. On the under fire table, 8.
He's out.
He's out? Okay, so an 8 is staggered. Now, a normal being from the material world, if they took another staggered marker, they would be out of action. But because he's a demon, he's undead essentially, then a second stagger does not take him out of action. So he's still just down and staggered. Second shot, I got to get an out of action to take him out of action. 11. Versus a 3. Ooh, that's triple. So I get to add 2 to my under fire roll. Here we go. 5, 6, 7 is down, so that does nothing because he's already down and staggered. So third shot. And 11, 12 versus your 9. So one more chance. And 4. So that's a snapshot. So under normal circumstances, if the demon had something to shoot with and he was on his feet and ready to go, he could shoot back. But he can't because he has no shooting and he's down and staggered. So 3 shots from the autocannon, and nothing happens to the demon because of his demonic resilience. Okay, so now it's the warp demons, and who's going to...
So the summoner is going to shoot at this cyborg.
Okay, so here's the summoner here, and he's going to shoot with his energy staff twice at that cyborg rifleman over there.
And I'm going to use 1 command point to buff it.
All right, he can't figure out a way to dodge completely out of sight, but he's going to dodge over here and get some cover anyway. So I think you still get to shoot, but he's going to get some cover now. Okay, so the summoner here is shooting at this rifleman here. Both are rolling d10s because of their respective buffs.
Attacking. 18.
18, that's pretty good. So I got a 15, a 16, but that's not quite enough. Okay, so roll on the under fire table. 2d6. 9. Down and staggered. So he's down and staggered. So one nice thing they say is that if you're behind cover and you get knocked down, you're out of line of sight. So he falls over. And so instead you're going to shoot at the heavy weapons guy.
Yep.
So some games talk about intervening terrain, but I think if you drew a straight line from the summoner to the machine gunner over there, there wouldn't be anything really in the way. So no cover. You're down to 2d8s, as am I.
But you have +1.
But I have +1 because of my heavy armor.
7.
7. And I got an 8. So summoner missed.
And then I got 1 more move.
Aha, the summoner is going to drop out of sight back behind the wall. Pretty clever. I got a couple of guys over here who can activate. I think the commander is going to take a couple of shots at this demon that is down and staggered. That would be Stinky.
That's a very stinky move on your part, by the way.
Firepower of 2d8 plus 1. He's within 1 stick, so there's no nerf. And you're staggered, so you're defending with 2d6. I got a 6. And you got a 7, so first shot missed. Rolling again. And an 8.
11.
So the red dice make a comeback.
I roll better when I'm down and staggered.
Okay, so the commander missed. Okay, warp demons, what you gonna do? You have this guy who's down and staggered who could try to recover, and then you have your other guy who is staggered. Okay, so Stinky is down and staggered. He is going to try to recover. Fortunately, he gets to use the summoner's willpower, so he rolls 2d10 versus the universe's 2d6. And you got a 9, and the universe got a 9. I think that's enough. Okay, if you equal or exceed the roll, you become unstaggered. So you're unstaggered. You spend another action to stand up. So that's 2 actions, and now you get to move. So you have 1 action left, and what are you going to do?
I'm going to engage the captain.
So Stinky moves up, gets in base to base. And he doesn't have any actions left, so he is just in base to base with the commander. Okay, so this cyborg here is down and staggered. He should try to get unstaggered, I guess. Do you wish to roll for the universe?
I will roll for the universe.
His willpower is only 2d6. The cyborgs do not have a lot of willpower. So go ahead and roll, universe. 8. And I got a 6, so I was not successful. So I will try again. And you got a 5. Oops.
You have enough.
I got enough anyway. Normally I'd re-roll that, but a 6 is enough. And then he's going to stand up. So he gets rid of his staggered token, and he stands up, but that's all of his activations. But at least he's not down and staggered anymore. Okay, so you have one guy left, and that's Angry here, and he's going to try to get unstaggered.
Yes.
He gets to roll 2d10 because he's tapping into the summoner's willpower, which is nice. And he gets a 6. And the universe got a 9.
I can try again.
Try again. A 5. Versus a 7.
I can try one more time.
Still staggered.
Maybe I should roll the 2d6s. That might be better.
13. Versus a 7. So he finally becomes unstaggered. So I got one guy left. That's this rifleman here. He's going to have to move 3 full sticks because he can't quite get there in 2. But he's going to get adjacent to this big sarcophagus here. So that's everybody on the cyborg side.
Well, that's everyone on my side, too. Because you killed Pinchy.
I killed Pinchy, but every other demon is still on his feet. So it is not a blowout by any means. Okay, going into round 4, Lynn says she needs the initiative. And you got a 7, and I got a 9.
You're just never going to let me have initiative in this game.
That's right, it's all me.
It is.
It's not the randomized effect of dice rolling.
No, it is not.
Okay, wow. Okay, so to start, the cyborg commander is going to break away. He's going to spend 2 actions to move back, and he's going to blaze away with his heavy pistol. 1 shot, anyway. And I suppose he'll spend a command point to buff it, because why not?
And I'll spend a command point to buff mine.
To buff your defense. So I'm shooting with a firepower of 2d10 plus 1, and you're defending with 2d10. And I got a 12. And you get a 12, so it's a miss. And that's it.
Okay.
So the commander moved, he shot, he missed, and Stinky's going to run in, huh?
And bite him twice.
He's going to move 1 stick and swipe twice with his poison sword.
Yes.
His power weapon. Fortunately, my defense is 2d10. All right. Stinky rolls a 12. And the commander got a 9. So you get to roll on the under attack chart. Roll 2d6. 6. Knockback. The defending model must move back 1 stick. This move must not put it into contact with an enemy model. Place it down.
Then Stinky's going to move 1 stick.
So Stinky attacked the commander. The commander was knocked back 1 stick, and then Stinky ran up 1 more stick. Okay, so that was Stinky. So this heavy weapons guy here, I think he can move 1 stick. And from here, he is going to shoot at Angry, though Angry is going to get some cover. So he used 1 action to move. He's going to use another action to aim. And so that'll take his firepower from 2d8 plus 1 to 2d10 plus 1. And you defend with 2d10 because of the cover. So I got a 12. And you got a 12. So it's a miss.
Yay! It's a miss.
He moved, he aimed, he shot, he missed, but just barely. Okay, so Lynn has 2 demons left. The summoner, who is hiding, and then Angry here. And she's going to pull a fast one with Angry. She's going to have Angry move 2 sticks. So he can be within base to base of both the sarcophagus and the machine gunner, the autocannon guy. So that's pretty tricky. You only get 1 chop, but I think your weapon only chops once anyway. 1 mighty swing.
So I get to reroll rolls of 1, and if I do hit, I get +1 to the under attack.
Okay. I'm defending with 2d8 plus 1.
Roll to hit. 12.
And I got a 14, a 15. I deftly parried your double-handed energy weapon attack.
No comment.
Could have had those black dice. They could have been all yours.
I know. But this way I can blame the dice. Okay, what are you going to do? You have this one and this one left.
I have 2 riflemen, both in position to explode the sarcophagi. Maybe I should just leave them where they are, though they could shoot, I suppose, if there was someone to shoot at. I think this guy is just going to stand pat. So it's a standoff by the sarcophagus. Angry wants to reanimate that greater demon, and my rifleman wants to detonate some C4. Aha, so Lynn is getting tricky. The summoner is leaving cover and sprinting toward the second sarcophagus so he can contest it. But I'm going to spend a command point and overwatch.
So you're going to shoot me while I'm running.
I'm going to shoot you while you're running. So as soon as you become visible, as soon as you round the corner and are no longer in stealth suit mode, then this rifleman is going to shoot at you. It is a single shoot action. I can only use Overwatch once per round. So he's going to shoot with 2d8 plus 1. So this guy here is shooting the summoner as he rounds the corner. Summoner is using a command point to buff his defense. So that takes him out to what, 2d10?
Mm-hmm.
All right. 2d8 plus 1, 16.
Defending.
12. So the shot hits, just rolls 2d6 on the under fire table. And 9.
Down and staggered.
Down and staggered. So he does manage to drop the summoner. So you can't contest the sarcophagus. And for this guy's activation, he's just going to stand pat and get ready to activate the explosives. So I think that's everybody, right?
That is everybody.
Okay, let's take stock. So we have a cyborg here who's getting ready to activate the C4 and blow up this greater demon carcass. We have Stinky who's getting ready to put hurt on the cyborg commander in round 5, if there was a round 5. We have the cyborg autocannon who's in base to base with Angry, who's in base to base with the sarcophagus. And then there's another trooper right here who's also in base to base with the sarcophagus. And so it's sort of a standoff here because Angry is getting ready to activate the demon and the rifleman is getting ready to activate some explosives. And then finally, the summoner was running to try to contest the sarcophagus. But the minute he emerged from cover and became visible, he got shot. And now he's down and staggered, and so he probably won't make that mistake again.
Not necessarily. I mean, when it's down to the wire and you got to activate that demon, you got to get there.
All right, you got to take some risks in this crazy old world. So this was a fairly bloodless affair. The shooters couldn't shoot, the hand-to-hand guys couldn't attack, and the teleporters couldn't teleport. So I think there was one death, right? That was Pinchy. Yeah, Pinchy suffered sort of this embarrassing defeat because he's supposed to be...
the Pinchy monster, and he got pinched by the butt of a rifle.
That's right. He got slammed in the forehead by the butt of a rifle, and that took him out of the material plane. But everyone else is still active, more or less. Okay, at the end of round 4, this major demon carcass goes up in a ball of fire, and these guys are still staring each other down to see who's going to flinch.
So I believe this is our MVP of the game.
Oh, okay.
Not only did he manage to take out Pinchy with the butt of his rifle, but he managed to take out one greater demon carcass.
Yeah, he was the one guy who actually fulfilled some objectives. All right, so are you going to lay the blame on the red dice?
I'm going to lay the blame on the red dice.
Okay. Yeah, I thought the red dice would be appropriate for the warp demon hordes, but apparently not. I don't think statistically there was any difference. We can go back and look at the tape and see if perhaps you were cursed by the red dice. Okay, folks, I guess that's a wrap on today's tabletop adventure. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back soon with some more wargaming shenanigans, but until then, take care of yourselves and watch out for those warp demons.
Those inept warp demons.